Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Look, the past couple of weeks have really been a crazy time in the markets, and you know what? The past couple of days have been no exception. We're seeing this trend now, this almost normalized trend in the markets, of basically swings up 2, 3, 4% per day on the S&P, and then down perhaps the same amount. Yesterday was no exception, with a gain of 2.5%, and that follows a broad downtrend. You can see we're still red on the week by 2.3%, and the past month chart we are still headed down. Now, whilst a lot of people think this could be the start of a rebound, and we hear that every time markets go up even a little bit, we have a lot of people who also think the absolute opposite. We have a lot of people who think, irrespective of what happens with the tariffs, irrespective of anything like that, there are still so many issues that this is just going to be the early days. This is just starting. And now we're hearing a CNN economic analyst issuing a tariff warning, suggesting that we are indeed at the very early days of this. So who is the analyst? Well, it's Rana Fuha, I believe it is, who said on Tuesday that the President Trump's tariffs have destroyed foreign trust in the US, which she argued is essential to building a new system. And isn't there just a lot of truth to this? You know, you're hearing this all around the world, and this is a reality of it, whether people like this fact or not. You're not going to get a situation where people just accept these tariffs, like perhaps Trump thought they would. I mean, on some goods, yeah. But in a lot of these goods, the reality of it is there are perhaps cheaper, better, different alternatives that can be found outside of US markets for most industries. So of course, it's going to be one of those situations where countries may get pushed closer to China, may get pushed closer to other potential allies if the US is indeed becoming an unreliable partner, slapping tariffs on supposed allies and friends. It's just a situation where it's like, well, what is being done here seems to be eroding the trust in US markets, in US sentiment, and in US policy. Anyway, so this is something that's mirrored by the CNN global economic analyst Rana Fuha, who is bracing viewers for impacts of President Trump's aggressive tariffs, and warned the panel suggesting that this is the very early days of the policy with the worst ramifications yet to come. Quote, "What I hear from investors across the board is folks going to short-term assets, folks going to safety havens." This was said on a Newsnight with Abby Phillip show, I believe. There is also, I think, pain in the markets that we haven't yet seen. Let me point something out that is uncovered. People were selling off gold, they were selling off treasuries. They don't generally sell things like this in panic, she explained. That means they're trying to cover losses and stem blood flow from other problems that we don't yet see. Dubbed the Liberation Day, that's of course the 2nd of April, this is when Trump announced his 10% baseline tariff on all imports to the US, and he claims that this is something which is forcing foreign nations to negotiate with new trade alignments, while economists warn of sky-high prices for American consumers, right? Who does this benefit? It's a long story, isn't it? But we've discussed this in detail before. There is a strong argument being put forward by a lot of people who know a lot more than I do that this is just going to have negative consequences for everyone. Higher prices for US consumers, difficulty in relations, difficulty in... essentially, it undermines the US in a lot of ways. It's a difficult position, perhaps, that Trump has put the US in. So, Fuha warns that we're in the early days of this, and so to take it lightly. The idea that everybody's going to come in and line up and it'll be fine, not to mention, is very naive, not to mention the fact that China is also another consideration, right? And that is the way it's being seen. Everyone's going to line up, it's just going to work out. Well, maybe not. You know, this board, which applies to basically every single country, who's to say that every single country is actually going to line up? This implies, and this whole attempt of perhaps shaping things, it implied that nations are going to bend to the will of Trump. What if that doesn't happen? What if that actually does not come to place? And especially when we see these massive tariffs on China, as you guys will know, what are we going to see? What are we going to see? US tariffs on China are huge. It seems to not be going well on that front. And again, Fuha is arguing on Tuesday that Trump had a golden opportunity to build on the economic policies of the first administration, where he threw the entire chessboard up instead and destroyed trust in the US. Where Fuha said the country needs to forge ahead. You can't do it alone, she continued. There's horse trading going on. not just between the US and other countries, but between China and Europe. And well, we already know this, right? Other countries around the world are thinking, we can't trust this guy. This is not a way to get a new system. Is this a very convincing way? Probably not. And we're already hearing this from all around the world. People believing, people assuming, people seeing the US as now a bit more of an untrustworthy ally. And the idea that people are going to bend to the wills of an untrustworthy ally, the idea that countries are just going to become on board because there's nowhere else they can go, it's being proven wrong. And it's proven wrong basically time and time again. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section, guys. I want to hear what you have to say. Thank you for watching, and I hope I'll see you soon.